very interesting and important family of air polluting chemical compounds. But from the point of view of environmental pollution, only N2O, NO and NO2 are important, and collectively they are symbolized as NOx. These gases play multiple role in air pollution. So, if we see, there are several natural processes by which nitrogen oxides can enter the atmosphere. It can enter by chemical composition of atmospheric nitrogen with oxygen in the presence of lightning during thunderstorm to form nitric oxide, which further react with oxygen to give nitrogen dioxide. Nitrous oxide is released due to the action of soil microorganisms. So this is how we have the different families of, or you can say the different compounds of the nitrogen, right? So these, as you know, the three which are important, which we will take up today, they are nitric oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and nitrous oxides. So these together are known as the NOx. Now let us come to the sources of NOx. There are two sources by which you can form the NOx. As I mentioned just now, nitrogen oxides can be obtained from both natural and anthropogenic sources. The anthropogenic emission accounts for only 8% of naturally produced NOx globally, and the global concentration of NOx is 3 into 10 raised power minus 3 ppm, whereas local concentration is elevated several hundred folds in urban areas, reaching as high as 1 to 2 ppm under natural conditions. Oxides of nitrogen are produced during thunderstorm, as I mentioned in this slide, when the temperature is quite high. They can also be produced by soil microorganisms. So the two major anthropogenic sources of oxides of nitrogen are fossil fuel based power plants and the automobiles. Even nuclear explosions give NOx. Generally, if we see in fossil fuel based power plants, the combustion temperature is quite high, which allows N2 and O2 to combine to emit nitrogen oxides. These gases are also emitted from gasoline and diesel engines of automobiles. Students, as you know that the temperature and pressure in combustion chamber is very high, which provides suitable conditions for the production of these poisonous gases. And the nuclear explosions are also producing large quantities of NOx, which are injected directly in the atmosphere, generally in the region where the nuclear power stations are situated. And how NOx comes in the environment? If you see that at high temperature, N2 and O2 combine to give NOx. So these are the equations, how you can just see that nitrogen and oxygen combine to give NO. This nitric oxide in the atmosphere is converted to NO2 by aerial oxidation. So when aerial oxidation takes place, nitric oxides gets converted into NO2. So this is the major source of pollution, or you can see that this is the important gas which is to be discussed today. If you see, ozone too can oxidize NO to NO2. So NO plus O3 gives NO2 plus O2. So if you see in all these slides, what is formed, students? NO2. This is the main culprit. And these gases are also produced by photolysis of nitrous oxide in stratosphere. The estimated value of NOx in stratosphere is 3 to 5 into 10 raised power 9 molecules centimeter minus 3. So N2O is produced by the action of aerobic and anaerobic bacteria in soil on nitrate-based fertilizers. It is inert in atmosphere. So we have discussed the formation of the NO, NO2 and N2O. So these are the sources how these NOx are generated. However, when it reaches the stratosphere, it undergoes photolysis, producing either nitric oxide or free oxygen atoms. That is, if you see clearly, N2O reacts with HNu to give us NO and N, right? Or N2O plus HNu gives free oxygen atoms. The free oxygen atoms interact with N2O, producing NO, right? So in this way, we see that N2O is converted into NO. And finally, what will be the end product? NO2. As I told you in the previous slide, this is the main gas which is creating the whole problem. This NO is oxidized to NO2, which then reacts with water vapors to produce nitric acid. So NO reacts with oxygen to gives NO2. So the aerial oxidation gives what? Your nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide can react with water vapors and this can form nitric acid. So nitric acid is either washed down as acid rain or it can combine with atmospheric ammonia producing ammonium nitrate aerosols. So ammonia and nitric acid react to give us the aerosol, which is called ammonium nitrate aerosol. So in this way we see NOx may also interact with hydrocarbons in presence of sunlight to produce photochemical smoke. In the atmosphere, we see that nitrous oxide and nitric oxide are ultimately converted to nitrogen dioxide. So, nitrogen dioxide poses the major environmental hazards, being the primary pollutant. So, it may have direct toxic effects as primary effects, or we can have the secondary effects. That is, these may interact with other pollutants producing the secondary effects. So in this way, we see that there are primary and there are secondary effects. Primary effects. If we come to the primary effects, what is this? That is, we see the atmosphere has N2O and NO. They are converted to NO2. So the major environmental hazard is caused by NO2. So we will study the effect of NO2 on humans and vegetation. This is a deadly poison and it affects humans as well as vegetation. Humans exposed to NO2 are likely to develop inflammation of lungs. There are many diseases caused by this gas related to lungs. We can have breathing problem, or sometimes we can have infection, right? But the infection does not cause immediate pain. Later on, we can feel that there is some problem related to your lungs. Edema, accumulation of fluid in the lungs may occur several days later, and sometimes it can also result in death. Then, if we see, the maximum allowable concentration of NO2 has been calculated to be 8 ppm for an 8-hour period. Generally, the tolerance level is for 8 hours per day. That is known as the TLV value, tolerance level. However, even at much lower concentration, NO2 can cause acute bronchitis in children, and increased airway resistance in adults is also observed. Cigarette and cigar smoke, they also are very injurious to health, and we see that the smokers are likely to be more vulnerable to COVID-19, as they may also already have lung disease or reduced lung capacity, which would greatly increase the risk of this serious illness. So those adults, generally the adults, they are affected more by this COVID-19. If they are already having this lung problems, bronchitis, or some allergic reactions to the airway, then in this situation, which is prevailing nowadays, the situation will be vulnerable. So we should take care that smoking should be stopped immediately. You should also guide your elderly people and just advise them not to do the smoking, etc., at least in this period. Then there are some primary effects on vegetation also. NO2 is injurious to plants at low concentration as 3 ppm, 0.3 ppm, it suppresses plant growth. So it is observed that 0.3 ppm is also suppressing the plant growth. In case of food crops, exposure to NO2 sometimes results in decreased yield, as well as a disease related to these plants is also created, that is known as chlorosis. This is the diagram which is showing the yellowing of the leaves, which is called chlorosis. Then there are some secondary effects. This, till now I discussed about the primary effects on humans and also on vegetation. Now let us come to the secondary effects. As you know that the primary effects may interact with other pollutants, producing the secondary effects. So secondary effects may be rain, acid rain, photochemical smog, and aerosol. As you all know, in the atmosphere, a part of NOx is converted into nitric oxide, which may be washed down as acid rain. This we will discuss separately in the next class. All the three Secondary effects are to be studied in detail. In the next class, I will take up one by one. Photochemical smog is associated with hydrocarbons. That is, when smog is this NO2 is associated with hydrocarbon and sunlight, oxides of nitrogen lead to the formation of photochemical smog. Aerosols of nitric oxide are formed in the atmosphere from the oxides of nitrogen when they interact with ammonia, producing ammonium nitrate aerosols. So, these are the secondary effects which are caused by the NO2. And if we will see that the photochemical smog was first recognized in Los Angeles. This shows that how in Los Angeles during the Second World War, this phenomena occurred. It was seen as a unique and to some extent different from the type of pollution observed elsewhere. So it came to be called as Los Angeles. So this is known as Los Angeles smog. And this picture also depicts how the aerosols they are generated, the different types of the aerosols. So these are the primary effects and the secondary effects. Let us take up these one by one. Acid rain. In the atmosphere, a part of NOx is converted into nitric acid, which may be washed down as acid rain. So this NO2 gas reacts with water vapor to give us HNO3, which may be washed down as acid rain, leading to so many other problems. As you all know, Taj Mahal, it is being spoiled by this acid rain because there are so many industries in the nearby region in Agra. Of course, I will discuss all these effects in acid rain in the next class. Photochemical smog, when associated with hydrocarbons and sunlight, oxides of nitrogen lead to the formation of photochemical smog. This consists of a variety of chemical compounds, for example, ozone, organic compounds, including the peroxo compounds, aldehydes, ketones, acetyl nitrates, etc. Aerosols, a part of nitric acid formed in the atmosphere, forms oxides of nitrogen, interact with ammonia, producing ammonium nitrate aerosols. So this is the aerosol. This is one type I have taken. Now, what control measures are to be taken for NOx pollution? How we can stop the pollution which is created due to NOx. To remove NOx pollution due to its two major sources, that is thermal power plants. Now, if we see the thermal power plants, in thermal power plants, combustion temperature can be reduced to control the NOx pollution. This technique keeps away from the ideal stoichiometric ratio because with this ratio, higher temperatures are produced, generating higher concentration of NOx. There are several techniques which can be applied to reduce the combustion temperature. So in the thermal power plants, we can take these measures: use of fuel rich mixtures to control the amount of oxygen available, to use of fuel to control temperature in dilution energy, even injecting cooled flue gas to dilute energy, injecting cooled flue gas with added fuel. So this will control the NOx generation in the thermal power plants. Even the automobile exhaust, they also cause. So the chemical reduction, if we just take more of it in the thermal power plants, this technique provides a reducing agent such as urea to react with nitrogen oxides and reduce them to nitrogen, carbon dioxide and water. So in this way, this NO2 is rendered ineffective, right? Nitrogen and water are formed. Oxidation of NOx. This can be done by making the use of catalyst or by introducing the hydrogen peroxide or ozone in the air. The N2O5 produced is scrubbed with water to give nitric acid, which can be either collected as such or neutralized by an alkaline scrubber and then sold as calcium or ammonium nitrate. Even removal of nitrogen from combustion can be done. Nitrogen can be removed by using the combustion process by introducing oxygen in place of air. So we can replace air by oxygen. This gives a very intense flame which needs to be carefully controlled. In practice, instead of using one of the above methods in thermal power plants, any other method alone, best results are obtained by using a suitable combination of several methods. So only one method cannot be used. We should use many methods. Then we can even see that we can control the generation of NOx in vehicular exhaust. The control methods are exhaust gas recirculation, selective catalytic reduction, and a three-way catalytic converter. So let us discuss all these one by one. Let us come to the exhaust gas circulation. So the amount of emitted nitrogen oxide can be reduced by cooling some of the exhaust gas and then redirect it back to the charged air. This reduces the combustion temperature and therefore less amount of nitrogen oxide is produced. This is called exhaust gas circulation, abbreviated as EGR. Then let us come to the next, that is the selective catalytic reduction. This is the selective catalytic reduction. Another method to reduce the control of the generation of NOx, or we can say the concentration of nitrogen oxide, is to pass the exhaust gas over a catalytic converter for SCR. While exhaust gas recirculation can reduce nitrogen oxide emission by around 40%. The selective catalytic reduction removes up to 90% of the nitrogen oxide from exhaust gases. Exhaust gas circulation and selective catalytic reduction systems can be combined to ensure better removal of NOx. The selective catalytic reduction uses oxides of vanadium, molybdenum, tungsten on a ceramic support as catalysts. So we can use these as catalysts right? Platinum or palladium can also be used, but they are expensive, but we see that they are more durable. Hence, they can also be used. The another method is three-way catalytic converter. A three-way catalytic converter removes hydrocarbon, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxide from the auto exhaust. Hydrocarbons and carbon monoxides are oxidized while nitrogen oxides are reduced. These oxidation and reduction reactions do not occur in isolation. They go side by side. NO reacts with CO as written on this slide, right? The NO reacts with CO in the exhaust system, and partial reduction to nitrous oxide would also suffice, since nitrous oxide is easily decomposed to give nitrogen and oxygen. So in this way, we can form. So a three-way catalyst consists of these mixture of platinum, palladium, and rhodium deposited on a high surface honeycomb made ceramic and metallic or alumina petals. Right? So the pellets are made and they are kept on it. So in this way, we can have the control measures. So if these are controlled, we can have less amount of NOx in the atmosphere. So this can be controlled. Thank you very much, students. If NOx is controlled, we will have very green atmosphere, right? And we will live in a very clean air. This is the main culprit which is causing all the problems. So you understood the lecture properly, students? Yes, Shilpa? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So can I ask you a few questions? What do you understand by primary effects? What do you understand by primary effects? Yes, anyone? So which gas is the main culprit?
Ma'am, NO2.
NO2. Yes, there are so many. As I mentioned you, the oxides of nitrogen, but NOx, they are the main gases which are causing problem. And the most important gas which is to be controlled is what? Varsha?
Ma'am, maybe NO2.
NO2. Yes, maybe. It is sure that this is